I am a 22-year-old guy. I recently moved into an old house that was rented. The house was pretty cheap, so it wasn't really a surprise when I saw some cobwebs and whatnot. The only weird thing about the house was that the attic was off limits. The landlord said that it was unsafe, so he kept the door locked. One night I was awoken to what sounded like a scream or a woman weeping. It was faint and I could barely hear it, but it sounded like it was from above me. I looked up at the closed attic door and thought to myself, maybe I am hearing things. I went back to sleep, and in the morning, I told my roommate, Andrew, about the noise. He just laughed and said, "Yeah, that's just old pipes." That night when I was trying to sleep, I heard the noise again. This time, it sounded a little closer and a little louder. I could hear what sounded like a woman screaming and then dragging herself closer to the door. Then I heard scratching. I don't know whose side of the bed it was on, but I could feel the bed shake with each movement she made. I immediately got out of bed and ran to the other side of the room away from the sound. I think I may have been subconsciously trying to get away from whatever was in the attic. When I told Andrew in the morning about the noise, he just laughed and went back to sleep. So I decided to call the police. They came, but the attic door wouldn't open, so they couldn't come in. And they said there was nothing they could do, so they left. After that day, I started researching the house. I found out that the previous tenant disappeared under mysterious circumstances a year ago. Her name was Mary. She had apparently been mentally ill for a while, and her abusive husband, Frank, had locked her in the attic of the house. The local news clippings said that it took a while for the stench of death to waft out of the house. And when the police finally entered the house, both Mary and Frank were dead. I don't know how they died, but I think that whoever did kill them only did it to protect her from this world. From that day on, I never went near that attic door. I tried to forget about it and move on, but every night I would hear the same sounds. I heard dragging, scratching, and whispering. Sometimes I would even hear footsteps in the attic above my bedroom. I was getting scared, but I was also curious. I wanted to confront whatever was in the attic, but I was too afraid to go up there alone. So one night I called my two best friends over. We were going to watch a movie, and halfway through the movie, I told them about the attic. I said we should go check it out, and they agreed. We grabbed a baseball bat and a flashlight and walked towards the attic door. As we were walking, I started to feel a presence behind me. I could feel eyes burning into my neck, and I could hear whispering. I ignored it and continued to walk. When we got to the attic door, my hands were shaking as I reached for the doorknob. The moment I touched it, the whispering stopped. I opened the door and stepped inside. The attic was pitch black, so I turned on my flashlight and looked around. It was just an attic filled with old furniture and boxes. We didn't see anything, so we split up and started to search. As I was looking through some old boxes, I found a secret passage behind one of them. I opened it and gasped. It was a large room with a single bed in the middle. There was also a journal and a photo of a woman on the bed. The woman in the photo was Mary. I felt something wet trickle down my face and realized it was blood. I looked back at the passage and realized it was a dead end. There was no way out. I screamed for my friends, but they didn't come. I ran to the attic door and found Andrew standing there. He looked pale and scared. He said, "What are you doing up there? Why did you hide?" I told him I didn't hide and asked him why he didn't come when I called him. He said he didn't hear me and that he was sorry. We both stood there for a moment in silence. Then he said, "I think we need to call the police." As we were leaving the attic, I looked back and saw the woman from the photo standing in the corner of the room. I told Andrew to look, but when he turned around, she was gone. The next morning, the police came and tore the house apart, but they said that nothing was there. But now every night I can hear footsteps and dragging sounds in the attic. And sometimes I hear a whisper that says, "You found me." Thank you for listening to my story. If you want to hear more scary stories, stay tuned.